CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Pontiac. Cars that tell the world you're not just along for the ride. Pontiac, we build excitement. And by light beer from Miller, everything you've always wanted in a beer. And let's.
As we start the second quarter, Hank Stram, I think the most important statistic from the first period is that Green Bay, leading 10-0, threw the ball only 2 times.
And the other important statistic, Jack, is field position. They've only had they've had the ball on the +12, +28, whereas Minnesota has had to take the ball 75 and 80 yards on every drive, and that makes it tough.
On 2nd down and 10, a pass play and a sack. Racing in with Byron Braggs. Were they playing a game, or did he just break loose?
He just came across there and got a good rush. Byron Braggs, the left defensive end.
Loss of 10.
What happened was it was a cross block, Jack, and the tackle and the guard did not make the exchange quickly enough. 61, Wes Hamilton, was supposed to block him and missed the block.
It is 3rd down and 21. 4-man front for the Packers. 4-man rush. Drops it off short to Galbraith. Fumble! And I think Ezra Johnson got it. Yes, Green Bay has it. The hit was by John Anderson, and Ezra gets up with the ball. Second fumble by Galbraith. And the ball is at the Viking 43.
Boy, he has to feel badly about that. He's a very conscientious guy and wanted to do everything he could to help this team. Here we see it. He's wide open, gets the ball, tucks it away, makes a move, goes inside, and trying to cover the ball, and as he got hit, he just fumbled the football. That's all there was to it. Ezra Johnson, number 90, made the recovery.
And John Anderson is the one who made the hit. Now Green Bay has the ball at the Minnesota 42.
It takes guts to redesign one of the world's most popular cars. Introducing Toyota Corolla Reborn. This family sedan was reborn to please you with more comfort. Reborn to please your family with more room. Reborn to please anyone with its mileage and affordability. The 1984 front-wheel drive Toyota Corolla. Reborn to please the world.
I mortgaged my house to get my first tug. Believe me, the Jeannie T needed plenty of work.
Good night, Skipper.
Today, I own 2 others just like her, because we give our customers a good, honest pull for the money, and that pays off. People who make Meisterbrow work the same way. These days, I can pick any beer I want. This tastes as good as Budweiser, and it doesn't cost as much. Gentlemen, the drinking lamp is lit.
Introducing Meisterbrow. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
There's Bud Grant. He finds himself trailing 10-0 with 14-18 left in the half. Not very happy, is he? The ball is at the 42-yard line. There's the pass caught by Lofton for good yards. You know, the thing about Galbraith fumbling twice, Hank, is that Ted Brown seldom fumbles the ball.
Yeah, that's really been the big difference. And we see a shot of Tony, and I know he's very disappointed and very despondent about what's happened, but he's a fine player, and he'll bounce back and do a good job from here on in, I'm sure. That time Lofton ran an outside move on Teal, and the ball was right on the money.
And a pickup of 9 yards to the 33. Clark checks in. First down. Screen pass to Jesse Clark. John Swain had to bring him down.
And you talk about guessing right. Martin, the defensive end, came flying across there. That's what you like to see on a screen pass. A good, severe rush. Dickey acted it out well. Got the ball right over the top of Martin. Watch Martin, the left side of your picture, number 79. He's coming tough, which gives a lot of room behind him to the back, Jesse Clark. Good blocking downfield. He sees the seam. He's very decisive. runs through traffic, and a great play by Jesse Clark.
First down at the 23 of the Vikings. Ellis. An old Green Bay sweep. Hannon pulls him down from behind. Tommy Hannon caught up with the play, but a gain of 3 yards resulted. There's Crazy George trying to get these fans to root. Not much to root about here in Minneapolis.
And Ellis, Jack, is wearing high-top basketball shoes on this synthetic turf. And so is Cumby, the linebacker.
It is second down and 7. Four-man front for Minnesota. First down, first and goal. Clark broke the tackle of Hannon, and then Joy Browner tackled him at the 8.
I'll tell you something, Jack. Tommy Hannon is a good tackler, and there was a great illustration. He got good contact, but he bounced right off like a piece of popcorn at a battleship. Watch it from the ground level. Jesse Clark, number 33. Watch him. He catches the ball in the flat. Watch Hannon, 45. Look at that shot, and he bounces right off. Jesse Clark takes her right down the sideline for a first down.
It's Meade and Ellis in the backfield. Meade blocking for Ellis. Ellis goes to the 5, and it's second and goal from there. Studwell with a strong tackle, helped by Matt Blair. Green Bay leads here 10-0, and they're walking in there again.
I think in critical situations also, I think we'll see Green Bay run more to their left than they want to the right. They think Elshire is a better pass rusher than he is a run reactor, and for that reason they will run to the left, probably more so than the right.
They also have that good rookie guard on the left side.
Yeah, David Drexler, he's a good one. No.
Second and goal from the 5. Dickey's going to pass. End zone broken up. A good play by Willie Teal, the cornerback.
Boy, that was a great play by Willie Teal. It really was.
Intended for Lofton, and Teal came around the side, knocked it down. Third and goal from the 5. Let's watch that play by Teal, who's intercepted 3 balls this year.
Watch him come into the picture. He does a good job of timing the play and getting through there to knock the ball loose. Willie Teal played his collegiate football at LSU.
Third wide receiver is Philip Epps. They haven't thrown the ball to Kaufman. He's on the right side. Touchdown! Jefferson. 42 yards, 7 plays after the fumble. It's 16-0, folks.
And I'm going to tell you something. Jefferson really did a great job of getting between the 2 linebackers, Studwell and also Matt Blair. And Lynn Dickey pinpointed the ball right between the 2 guys. Had to be a perfect ball, and it was.
When Dickey saw him break loose, he threw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, didn't he?
Boy, you talk about throwing a dart. He threw one.
Here's Stenerud. He hasn't missed all year on the extra points. He adds this one to make it 17-0. Stenerud is 37 out of 37. Well, that followed the fumble by Galbraith, and here's the touchdown play.
Watch him throw the ball between Studwell. Watch it, 55. Look at him get between the linebackers and Blair, right between the 2 of them. Beautiful move, and the ball was delivered perfectly, right on target. Timing was perfect.
11-16 left in the half, and Green Bay is killing them. 17-0.
Who makes the best-selling radials in America? Goodyear. We outsell all foreign radials combined. One reason, the Goodyear Arriva. It gives you long tread life. And best of all season traction in the wet stuff and the white stuff. The Goodyear all-season Arriva. It's one reason Goodyear is the leader in radials. No foreign maker of radials even comes close. Goodyear, #1 in radials.
When the curtain goes up in a lot of places in Atlantic City, it may seem to be the same old song and dance.
Go get 'em, girls.
It's not that way at the Sands as Sergio Mendes brings his unique musical style to the Couple Room November 18th and 19th. When it comes to entertaining you, we don't play games.
NCAA basketball returns to CBS Sports as Larry Brown makes his Kansas coaching debut against last year's runner-up Houston in 2 weeks on CBS Sports.
Well, he took 3 minutes to get on in there for Green Bay. 7 plays, 5-yard pass to John Jefferson.
And the difference in the game, Jack, is field position. Very obvious. Minnesota is playing on a much, much longer field than the Green Bay Packers.
The kick by Garcia is taken by Redwine at the goal line. And he did not get to the 20-yard line. Well, this is a doubleheader today. Doubleheader day on CBS TV. The Dallas Cowboys travel to San Diego. Those Charger fans always give a lot of support to their team. And the Cowboys, who have lost only 1 time, may have their hands full. They boo Steve Dills as he comes on the field here.
That's hard to understand. I don't know what he's had to do with what's happened so far.
And those other games of the doubleheader, you saw New Orleans and San Francisco and Washington and the Giants. After this game, first down from the 19. Galbraith in motion, a toss to Nelson. He fumbled. But Minnesota got it back at the 37.
That's one of the few times you'll see a back do a good job of blocking on Douglas. They got a great block on Douglas, ran inside of him, number 53, and for that reason, they were able to make a lot of yardage on the play.
After the fumble, Casper got it back.
Watch this. Tony Galbraith made a nice block downfield on Douglas, and Darren Nelson took advantage of the block, ran inside. He's carrying the ball in the wrong arm, Jack. He's running to the right with a ball in the left arm. He got hit from the inside, and that's why he lost possession of the ball.
Murphy made the hit, but Dave Casper got the ball back. Casper, the tight end, is on the left side. First down at the 37. First down pass, batted down, intended for Sammy White. John Anderson, the linebacker, got up there and knocked it down. Listen to this crowd.
Anderson took the right angle that time and got up and knocked the ball loose. Bart Starr said that he is very steady, very dependable, and really has done a great job for the Packers.
A couple of scores for you of games being played elsewhere. The Cardinals in the second quarter lead Seattle 14-7. Kansas City is ahead of Cincinnati in the second quarter 10-6. Here it's 17-0 Green Bay. Second and 10. That's a fumble. And the play gains about 6 yards. Tim Irwin picked it up. It was a fumble. And he gained 6 as Byron Braggs hit the quarterback, Steve Dills.
Watch Braggs, the left end. Watch him come around the block of the offensive tackle, Irwin. And Irwin was in a good position to pick up the ball and run with it because he missed a block on Byron Braggs, number 73.
It is third down and 5 from their 42 for the Vikes. 9:25 left in the half. Not enough for a first down. It's caught by Sam McCullum. And Douglas and others were there, including George Cumbie, number 52.
Boy, that's surprising. We mentioned this so many times, Jack. He had to go another yard to get the first down, and he didn't run his pattern deep enough. So when he made the catch, he would make the first down. He's a yard short, and now they have to kick. Really unusual play by a veteran player.
We see that every week, don't we?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Here is Coleman punting for the second time. And the dangerous Philip Epps is back to get it. He ran one back 90 yards for a touchdown this year, so they had better cover. 8.5 left in the half. Green Bay leading 17-0 and about to get the ball back. Good coverage. Fair catch at the 10 by Epps. Green Bay will go from there. 8:21 left in the half. A 44-yard punt. Green Bay will try to add to their lead.
suspension, the four-wheel disc brakes, the new leather sports seats.
Nice.
This is the right stuff.
When you have an insurance claim, that's the moment of truth.
You want results as quickly as possible.
You don't want to call a stranger with a claim, and with State Farm you don't. You call your agent.
And State Farm claims people are there when you need them to make sure everything's handled fast and fair.
What makes State Farm Claim Service work so well is an agent who's available when you need help.
And people who follow through with your claim.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
There's a youngster on the Minnesota roster by the name of Rick Bell, and he was married yesterday. This is his honeymoon.
Unusual, and I understand he was able to stay at the hotel with the team.
I hope so. 8:21 left in the half.
Minnesota's in a four-man line now. They've been using a three-man. Now they're in a four-man line.
Ellis. Browner got to him. Joey Browner, number 47, was the #1 draft pick of the Vikings. They're getting a lot of mileage out of him.
Yeah, he's a big, strong defensive back, really a great athlete, and they expect big things from him.
Defensive end, Neil Elshire, number 73.
Elshire gets blocked, and that's where they're trying to direct a lot of their attention, trying to run to the left. He gets tangled up, does not make the tackle, but Browner, number 47, comes up and does the job.
2nd down and 10. Green Bay will throw from anywhere on the field, but they've been playing very conservatively. Here's the pass. And a flag has been thrown. Let's see what they call.
It looks like they call it on Swain.
If they do, it'll be the 2nd one against him. It's an illegal chuck against Minnesota. And it may have been Rufus Betts.
And they were blitzing on the play, Jack. Blitzing on the play. They had 1-for-1 coverage. And Swain was playing head up the tight end and gave him a good option to go either inside or outside.
Number 37 on the defense, 5 yards from the previous spot.
Well, it wasn't anywhere near where the ball was thrown. It was Willie Teal who was the culprit.
Let's see if we can see what happened. We see the shot of Swain covering.
It's a 1st down at the 15-yard line. Dickey for Lofton. Out of bounds. Well, Dickey doesn't move very well, but he got away from the rush and unloaded.
And I'm surprised, you know, the Lofton, the great receiver that he is and the great composure that he has, I'm surprised that he just didn't stop instead of trying to run backward. Just stop and make the catch. But he didn't, and he wasn't really aware of where he was because he was so close to the sideline, and finally, if he caught it, would have been out of bounds.
8:02 left in the half. Green Bay out in front 17-0.
They look like they're a lot more effective with a four-man front than they were with a three-man rush, Jack. Talking about Minnesota.
2nd down and 10. Meade and Ellis in the backfield.
And they're playing with 5 defensive backs.
Jefferson in motion. And the delay to Meade. He got 2 yards. That's all. It's going to be 3rd and 8.
That time Blair was blitzing on the play. Number 59 got good penetration, guessed right, and went right into the designated area of the running back.
Blair is number 59.
Watch Blair, number 59, in the middle of the formation. Watch him. The play is going to the left. He's got an angle in the gap. He goes through there, gets blocked. He misses the play, but there was enough congestion where the back did not have much of an opportunity to run on the play.
7.5 left in the half. 3rd and 8. Jefferson to the right, Lofton to the left. Running play to Ellis. No 1st down. Time to punt for Green Bay. Green Bay was really worked up for this game. Elshire and Hannon made the tackle. In fact, some of their players were here at the stadium for this 12 o'clock game at 8:30, I'm told, Nick.
Yeah, it looked like the lights were still off, and they were walking around here with miners' caps. It was that early this morning, but they were here. And I think a great illustration of how eager they were to get this game underway.
This fellow has the longest punt in the National Football League this year. Bucky Scribner out of Kansas, a 70-yarder. Rufus Bess is back to get it. He's standing inside his 40-yard line.
This may be the first time that Minnesota will come away with halfway decent field position.
They almost blocked it, and the ball will bounce away from Bess, and it's down by Green Bay. No flags have been thrown, so 6:25 left in the half. Minnesota will try to get on the board.
The truck world has just been turned upside down. Introducing the 1984 Toyotas, the next generation of Toyota trucks, the best-looking Toyotas ever. With a new extra cab, the roomiest Toyota ever. And with this SR5, the most powerful Toyota ever, thanks to the first-of-its-kind electronic fuel injection. The truck world will never be the same.
Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
A Christmas gift from Radio Shack.
I was having a problem finding gifts, but then I found this one-piece all-electronic phone at Radio Shack, on sale $19.95. It has auto redial, an electronic ringer, a 16-foot cord, and it hangs up when you put it down. It was such a fabulous gift, I decided to treat myself. This one's for the kitchen, the bedroom, the bathroom, the hall, the upstairs
The
bathroom.
one-piece personal phone, on sale $19.95, only at Radio Shack.
Chiefs, a southern town that grew because of one man's devotion. But beyond their American dream lies the terrifying mystery of Chiefs, tonight on CBS.
There's Bud Grant. He's concerned about this one, and he has a tough schedule down the line. I'll tell you that. We'll show you that schedule a little later.
You know, Minnesota's had the ball on 1st and 10 times and only thrown 2 times. I think they have to do more of that, Jack.
Here they are on 1st down. Batted down by Braggs. He tried to get it out to Casper, the tight end, who had shaken loose. He was all alone over in the sideline, and Braggs batted it down. He's 6'4", and he got up with his arms extended. That's happened to Dills a couple of times today. Dills is 6'1".
That was a short drop, meaning that the quarterback didn't go back in the pocket very deep. And if there's any penetration at all with those big defensive linemen, they get the hands up. It's hard to throw through with those arms.
The extra back, Dwayne Osteen, is in there defensively for Green Bay. 2nd and 10 from the 33. Incomplete. Ezra Johnson came blowing through there. Johnson has 9.5 sacks, and he darn near got another one.
Steve Riley blocking Ezra Johnson.
Not very well.
Not very well, and of course they had a stun on that time. He was coming around the outside, and that's why they did not get any kind of a piece of him, and he came running through there very free.
Johnson is the best defensive lineman for Green Bay. Their problem has been in the middle of the defensive line.
But, you know, they're playing much better defensively than they did the last time we saw them play. They're using a 4-man line now.
3rd down and 10. Oh, what a good catch by Sammy White. And really, the ball took off a little bit, but White caught it over Mike Jolly for a 1st down.
And there's a great illustration of Steve Dills having enough time to throw the ball. He was able to step and throw, and that was the difference in the delivery of the play.
The ball down to the 45. White is shaken up.
Watch from the shotgun. And watch the protection. He's able to step and throw the ball right between the hash marks to Sammy White. Makes a great catch, but that was a vulnerable area. He got the ball right on the money. But that's what he's capable of doing when he has time to throw the football.
And of course, when Tommy Kramer was the quarterback, he gave himself time with his ability to escape the rush. We have 6:05 left in the half. 1st down, Minnesota.
When I first bought this ranch, I could work it with 1 horse. The place has grown a little since then. And along the way, I learned something. If you sell a man good steers at a fair price, you're gonna do okay. The people that make Meister Brau beer must have gone to the same school I did. They got a beer here that tastes just as good as Budweiser. They sure do. It just doesn't cost as much. It sure don't. I got a hunch. Those boys are gonna do okay, too.
Introducing Meister Brau. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
takes guts to redesign one of the world's most popular cars. Introducing Toyota Corolla, Reborn. This sport liftback was reborn to please you with its balanced handling. Reborn to please your friends with its surprising performance. Reborn to please anyone with its low Toyota price. The 1984 Toyota Corolla Sport Liftback. Reborn to please the world.
Sammy White just caught that ball for 22 yards, and then he walked off the field after being shaken up. Bills is 9 out of 14. He's been sacked 3 times. And there goes Nelson, and look at there. Tim Lewis, the rookie cornerback from Pittsburgh, number 26, was coming on a blitz, ran right into the play.
He read the play perfectly that time, Jack, and they're in their hurry-up offense with 5:41 before the half.
They're very good at this. Bills outside. Casper. Did he get it? No, out of bounds. Tim Lewis was covering.
Talking to the quarterbacks the other day, talked about Casper, and they say, I don't know how he does it. You know, he doesn't look like he does much, but all of a sudden, there he is. He's open, and he catches the ball so well, but he's really done a terrific job of blocking here for the Minnesota Vikings and came right in the lineup as soon as they made the trade from Houston. Look, he throws the ball outside. He makes a leaping catch, but as he comes down, he does not have both feet in bounds, and a good call by the official.
It is 3rd down and 12. Anderson has it. And Green Bay has it at their own 42. Listen to this crowd now. And a flag has been thrown. A little scuffle broke out and a flag was thrown. Anybody do anything, Fred? Or are you going to get them both? Fred Silva is the referee. Interception by John Anderson. That was his 3rd of the year.
44, Minnesota, personal foul. 53, Green Bay, personal foul after the down. Between downs, it's going to be 1st down, Green Bay.
The ball is at the Green Bay 42. 5:24 remaining in the half. And that's the 3rd turnover by the Vikings.
See, now Dill's right about the time he was throwing the football. He got hit, and he wound up throwing a knuckleball, but it wasn't his fault. You can't throw the ball unless you have time enough to throw it and step and throw.
It is a 1st down for Green Bay at their 42.
And Minnesota starts with a 4-man line this time.
Lewis in motion. Dickey throws long. It's there, and then underthrown, incomplete to Lofton. Willie Teal was trying to race downfield with him, and the pressure made Dickey give it up a little too soon.
And Rufus Best was blitzing on the play from the right cornerback. They're playing with 4 linemen and 5 defensive backs. And the last time they played, Jack, you know, they had some automatics when they had the 4-man line. They just had some run automatics, and it disturbed their rhythm and timing very much. Talking about Green Bay in this game, they're just going to go ahead and run the plays they have called in the huddle and not worry about it.
5:19 remaining in the half. Green Bay leading 17-0. There goes Meade. Never did get started. He got about 2.5 yards on the play. Neil Elshire took care of him and got help from James White. A couple of scores for you. Cleveland hangs on to that 10-0 lead over Tampa Bay at the half. And St. Louis in a free scoring battle leads in the 2nd quarter 28-14 over Seattle. And here we have 4:45 left in the half.
They've got to run some misdirection plays, Jack, somewhere along in here because they are getting a good rush from that 4-man line, and they're chasing very much, and a misdirection play would be very effective.
Elshire messed up that screen pass. He was right in the middle of it.
He does that very well. He rushes the passer and reads pass extremely well, and that's why he was in a position to make that play go awry, throw the ball over the top.
So after the interception by Anderson, Scribner will have to punt for the 2nd time today. Back to get it, Rufus Bess. He has averaged 7 yards per punt return. 4:39 left in the half. High snap. Teal almost got it. Good high punt. And Bess called for a fair catch. fans don't like that. He had a little room to run with the ball. Instead, the Vikings will start from the 12-yard line. They haven't had good field position. There will be more football action for you on CBS when this game is over. The Chargers entertain the Cowboys with thoughts of upsetting the first-place Dallas team. And you'll see that one or New Orleans and San Francisco with identical records. They're booing Steve Dills again as he goes on the field. And the third game of our doubleheader will be Washington and the Giants at New York. 4:31 left in the half. From the 12. And a gain of about 4 yards on the pass to Galbraith.
That time they picked up the blitzer very well. Douglas, number 53, was blitzing. There we see a good picture of Bud Grant. He's unflappable, never changes his expression. We had a great visit with him the other day. He was very cordial. Talked about going to see his son play a high school game. They do very well and won the game. And he's got a son playing collegiate football who's been approached by 10 NFL football teams already as a quarterback.
Ball at the 16. Second down. They can't get much going. Galbraith tackled by Wingo and Cumbie, the two inside linebackers. These people in Minnesota had the pleasure of watching Ted Brown, one of the best running backs and receivers in the National Football League. And anything less, of course, makes them discontent. 3.5 left in the half.
All teams in the league lost a lot of good players, but when you look at this Minnesota Viking team, they've lost Kramer. They lost their great tight end, Joe Sensor. And
they lost Ted Brown.
And they lost Ted Brown. That makes a big difference.
Out of the shotgun, 3rd down and 5. 4-man rush. Sammy White with a first down to the 30-yard line.
Holding penalty against Minnesota.
Oh, dear. Tim Lewis made that tackle and a call against the Vikings. So instead of having the ball at their 30, they bring it back. So they can't get untracked at all. And this is when nasty things happen, Hank.
Yeah, they do. But, you know, talking to Bar Star the other day, he said that one thing about the Minnesota Vikings, they respond well to losses as well as anybody he ever sees.
Offense, number 61. Holding, half the distance to the goal.
Wes Hamilton, the right guard. That's the 3rd holding call against Minnesota in this first half. Here are some scores of other games. The Jets ahead of Buffalo in the second quarter, 7-0. Kansas City ahead of Cincinnati 13-6 in the second quarter, and Pittsburgh leads Baltimore 7-0 in the first period. 3rd down and 14. Safety. Greg Boyd, whom they put in for the pass rush, makes the score 19-0. And they'll get the ball back.
Boy, they really got off the ball good that time. All 4 defensive linemen, Jack. It was sensational. Watch the 4 defensive linemen come off the ball. They got a stunt, meaning the left tackle went inside, the right tackle went around. And look at the penetration. Boyd, number 72, Greg Boyd, 72, got the tackle. Safety for the Green Bay Packers.
Boyd out of San Diego State. Well, those linemen don't get many points, and when they do, they love it. That's why I said nasty things happen in a spot like this. It was 3rd and 14, trailing 17-0. You just couldn't run a vanilla play and then punt the ball. You had to try to get something done. And they cost Minnesota 2 more points. It's 19-0. They'll have to punt. These Vikings have already lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, the only thing about football, Jack, we got to all remember that it's a game of 2 halves. And there are 3 games out of this, 3 plays out of this game so far. We've seen a lot of unusual things happen in the second half. This team is not going to lay down and die. It'll still be a good game, I guarantee you.
This is the 9th time in recent months. There's Greg Coleman. He'll punt the ball. The 9th time in recent months that Green Bay will try to win 2 games in a row. They've been up and down and up and down.
They have, only because their defense really hasn't played that well. They think really now their defense is playing much, much better, and they feel much better about their team.
We have Epps, the deep man, and the punt. Bounce is touched. It goes out of bounds at the 30. Mark Lee touched it. Green Bay will go from the 30-yard line after that free kick. 2:52 left in the half. Let's look ahead a week and see what some of the pairings are in games that you will see on CBS. The Giants versus Philadelphia. Detroit plays Green Bay at Milwaukee. You know how important that game is going to be. Two division leaders, Minnesota at Pittsburgh. I wonder if the Vikings will go in there having lost 3 in a row. And the Rams and the Redskins, that's a great pairing. And the 49ers and Atlanta in a divisional battle. First down running play is good for about 3 yards.
And here again, they start the series, the Minnesota Vikings, with a 4-man front. They look like they're really doing much, much better stopping the run and putting pressure on the Green Bay offense with a 4-man rush than they are with a 3.
Meade picked up 3 yards, 2nd and 7, 2.5 left in the half. Green Bay leading now 19-0.
And they're playing with 5 defensive backs on 1st and 10 and early downs.
Motion by Jefferson and the give to Clark. He had that big run earlier. There goes a flag. Clark ran out to the 37 where Doug Martin tackled him. Holding against Green Bay. Green Bay has had a very low totals of penalties coming into this game.
Yeah, only 47, and the only other team with fewer penalties, the Miami Dolphins.
The clock is stopped with 2:08 left in the half.
I might add that the Miami Dolphins consistently, year in and year out.
Number 74, 2nd down.
The call against Tim Huffman, number 74. Let's see if we can catch it. He is working against Doug Martin.
There you see him. He's got the arm hooked. You see the hook? He's got the hook, and that's why they call holding. Good play on good call on the part of the officials.
2nd down and 16. A delay to Clark. Well, he's a tough runner, isn't he?
He really is.
31.
You talk about a back who makes something happen. He makes it happen, and I think the other thing that Green Bay, Jack, has to do, they have to run straight at that 4-3 rather than try to run east and west. They've got to run north and south, and especially tackle or attack the middle area.
Her name is Deborah Crowder. She's a single parent with 2 children. Without job skills, her chances of being more than just another welfare statistic are 0.
But she's beating the odds. I'm James Lofton of the Green Bay Packers, here to thank you for giving Deborah and her children the chance in life that she needs.
Here in Milwaukee and all across the country, through your support of the United Way, the Urban League is giving people like Deborah the training and guidance they need. Today, with government programs being cut back or eliminated, the critical need for job training and employment opportunities is a basic necessity for many of the people in our communities.
So, you're helping people who want to help themselves when you support the Urban League through your One United Way contribution. So that's why I can say thanks, because thanks to you, it works.
For all of us, the United Way. Give me a kiss.
The preceding message was brought to you by the National Football League. Hank, how in the world do you measure emotion, and where do you find it? Green Bay has it today, don't they?
That's the mystery formula. You never know what's going to happen, how teams are going to play from week to week. Before the game, you talk to people, and they're very excited and very enthusiastic about playing, and then the game starts, and they don't show that same animation.
3rd down and 9 from their 31 for the Packers. 3rd wide receiver, Epps, into the game. 4-man rush, Minnesota. They did a good job of blocking. The pass is good for a 1st down. The pass was caught by Jefferson, and he knew where he had to go. In fact, I don't think they're giving him, it is a 1st down. I didn't think they quite gave him the forward progress that he had. John Swain tackled him.
The real difference, Jack, is really he went back beyond to where he had to go, came back for the ball, made the catch, and gave him a 1st down. Looks like a 1st down anyhow.
They're going to measure now. And it is a 1st down.
See, but the difference was that he went beyond the area and then came back to the spot and had enough room to make the necessary yardage for the first down. That really is the big difference.
Some of the Vikings are hot about the call. Of course, they're thoroughly frustrated by this time. They trail 19-0 with 1:46 left in the half. Minnesota has 2 timeouts and Green Bay has 3. Ellis in trouble. Browner came up and got him. And a loss on the play. Some scores of other games for you. Houston has caught the Lions at the half, 10-10. And New England leads Miami in the second quarter, 14-6.
They always play them tough.
At the half, the Jets 14 and Buffalo nothing. And at halftime, it'll be Brent Musburger and Irv Cross scores and highlights. And a feature for you as well, the legends of the game. Second down and 13. Little Epps got loose for a first down, and he stopped the clock at the 43 of Minnesota. John Swain covering. Was visiting with Epps before the game. He's a little fella, 5'10", 185.
Look at the protection, a big difference. We talked about that going into the game. If he had time to throw the ball, he was going to be murdered. He has time, delivers it right on the money. There's not a more accurate and a hotter quarterback in the league at this particular stage of the season when he has time to throw the ball than Lynn Dickey. He and Theismann have really been super.
Dickey with 1 touchdown pass today has
23.
Only 1 less than the Packer record in a single season. Oh boy, that play was there, but overthrown to Jesse Clark. 50 seconds left as the clock stops.
That time the corner was blitzing also. Willie Teal was blitzing on the play.
So Dickey picked the right spot, didn't he?
He picked the right spot. He just didn't have enough time to throw the ball properly.
50 seconds left in the half. The score here is Green Bay 19 and Minnesota nothing. Field goal, 2 touchdowns, and a safety.
I think they got to run some draws too in an obvious passing situation with just a 1 middle linebacker in there, Jack. Blair is playing in the middle.
Blitz is on. 2nd and 10. There goes Epps. Can't get it. Epps is a flyer out of Texas Christian. He had beaten his man, but he couldn't get to the ball. Swain was running with him. And Dickey got plastered after throwing the ball.
They had a blitz on. Look at the stunning inside. Ends going in outside. The tackle's going inside. Throwing the ball down the middle. Didn't have time enough to step and throw and get it downfield well enough. Fred McNeil was also blitzing on the play, number 54.
The only one who watches the quarterback get hit after he throws the ball are the referee and the quarterback's wife.
You're right. That's right.
It is 3rd down and 10. 45 seconds left in the half. From the 43. Intercepted and then fumbled and recovered by Browner. Minnesota has it with 36 seconds left in the half. Browner, his 2nd interception, then he fumbled it, and then he recovered. He's a one-man game. And he's giving a little life to that Minnesota defense, isn't
he? He's out there playing with a lot of emotion. Watch, they have a stunt. Ends coming in, tackles going out. Threw the ball a little bit high. It was tipped. It was tipped.
By Clark.
By Clark and intercepted by Browner.
Now the ball rests at the Viking 23. First down, out to the 40. No call timeout. With 25 seconds left. Now they use the hurry-up offense. Man, they cost themselves about 10 seconds.
Well, they have 2 timeouts left, not 3.
Well, they have 2. Now they only have. They better call a timeout now with 11 seconds left in the half and a first down at midfield. Steve Jordan, the tight end, caught that one. Tackle by John Anderson. Dills goes to the sideline to talk to Grant. They have to get it close enough to try a field goal, call a timeout, and get the unit on the field.
Ricardo's longest field goal so far this year is 44. came into the game with 19 out of 22. He missed one earlier, so he's 19 out of 23. Boy's having a hot year.
And earlier his miss was 31 yards. Hank, what about the quarterbacks these days? Is it tougher for them now than it was in the days of Unitas and Graham and Jurgensen and Starr and the others?
It really is tougher, only because there's so many things that you see today compared to what you used to see. It used to be a game of man-for-man coverage, basically in one alignment or maybe two. But now you're seeing a great variety of alignments and anywhere from 35 to 45 different kinds of coverage. You're seeing 4 backs, 5 backs, 6 backs, 7 backs, a conglomeration of a lot of things. And so as a result, it's much more difficult to just jump in and play quarterback today than it used to be.
How many plays did you tell me that Minnesota had last week?
I talked to Archie Manning the other day, and Archie said that going into last week's game, they had 200 plays ready for the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Boy, that's something, isn't it?
It really is. It's first down at midfield. Only 11 seconds left in the half. 1 timeout remaining for the Vikings. Incomplete. Well, that would have been enough for a first down. Dills got popped by Boyd when he threw the ball. Now we have 7 seconds left. The ball is a little bit underthrown, and he had Boyd right on top of it.
Well, what happened on the play, Jack? They had 3 wide receivers on the right side. A lot of people call it different things, but the Big Ben play where they throw the ball up and hope somebody makes a mistake and they get a big play, but he was looking to the right and had to throw left because he had Boyd in his face and had to get rid of the ball, or else he'd have been involved in a loss on the play.
19-0. Green Bay has the lead.
Now they got the 3 receivers over there, Jack. They got to throw it downfield and hope for some kind of a big play.
4-man rush for Green Bay. And Dills is hit as he throws. Incomplete. 3 seconds left in the half. Dills is having a terrible time. It's not his fault either.
Yeah, he can't block the lineman and throw the ball both. He's not getting good protection, and that's why he was not able to get rid of the football. He was trying to throw it deep downfield. Watch 72 Boyd.
He's been all over. He comes in on pass rushing situations.
Yes, look at the penetration. He got through the guard, went right through 2 other people. You talk about determination. Boyd, Greg Boyd, 72, really did a great job of rushing the passer that time.
And with only 3 seconds left in the half,
they'll do it again. Try to throw the ball deep.
4-man rush for Green Bay. All right, who's going to get it? It's batted down, and the half is over. There are no flags. Mike Jolly got a hand on the ball. And Bud Grant's going to have to figure something out here at the intermission.
But remember again, there are only 3 plays from being out of this game.
Well, so far, Stenerud had a field goal after Benny Ricardo missed one. Then a 1-yard run by Mike Mead. 5-yard pass play to John Jefferson. And a couple of fumbles, 3 turnovers in the first half by Minnesota. And a safety was caused as Boyd tackled Dills in the end zone. This crowd is just booing Dills unmercifully whenever he comes on the field.
Yeah, it's very unreasonable because I know they're very frustrated and they want their team to do well, and that's one way of showing their involvement with the team. But really, Steve Dills has had nothing to do with the problems they've had because he hasn't had time to throw the football. This game is just the opposite of the game we saw several weeks ago when the Minnesota Vikings put a lot of pressure on Dickey. Now the thing is turned around, and Dills is getting a lot of pressure.
When you think of running back tandems, a lot of you folks think about Horning and Taylor. But in their best year, they gained 200 yards less than Keith Lincoln and Paul Lowe, who led the Chargers in '63 to the title. Irv Cross deals with that on his Legends of the Game coming up at halftime, and some surprising scores and highlights for Brent and Irv to deal with as we have a surprising score here. Green Bay trying to catch Minnesota in the standings and win their 6th game. And don't you think Detroit will be inspired down at Houston when they see this score?
They'll be playing the game and looking at the scoreboard, and you're right, Jack. They'll play very inspirational football. And really the difference in the game so far, Jack, really and truly, when you look at it realistically, is the fact that the Green Bay Packers have had much better field position. They got the ball once on the plus 12. We got the plus 28. They got it on the plus 43, minus 42. And that relates to 16 points, and that makes a big difference.
And the Bears lead Philadelphia at halftime 14-7. And if Minnesota gets knocked off here, that'll give the Bears some semblance of a chance. Well, we're at the intermission, and Green Bay has the lead, 19-0.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the all-new Toyota Corolla Sport Liftback, reborn for 1984. See it at your local Toyota dealer. And by Goodyear, makers of Arriva, the all-season radio.
For the first time in his life, he's struggling, having a hard time in math. He needs help. He can get that help with the home computer from Texas Instruments. It has more educational cartridges than any other computer. They challenge, encourage, make learning fun. The home computer from Texas Instruments. It can give your child a head start in school that could last a lifetime.
Canon's AE1 program is impressing a lot of people. For the pro photographer,
it's even more advanced.
And for Super Bowl champ Joe Theismann,
it's even simpler to use.
No matter how tough the shot, the program mode automatically sets the camera for the best possible photo.
Well, this Canon is super.
The Canon AE1 program. So advanced, it's simple. Canon, the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics.
Torture test after torture test. Day and night. The wear and tear of 5 tough years in just 15 weeks at the General Motors Proving Grounds.
All yours, Brenda.
Even if you never put your GM car through anything like this, it's good to know we did. Nobody sweats the details like GM.
Spend your Thanksgiving holidays with CBS Sports. We'll have a full menu of great games, starting with the NFL on Thanksgiving Day. The St. Louis Cardinals take on the Dallas Cowboys. Friday, college football takes center stage as Alabama meets Boston College. Saturday, our coverage of college basketball tips off with Kansas against Houston, followed by a college football classic, Nebraska and Oklahoma. And on Sunday, an NFL doubleheader. All here Thanksgiving Day through the weekend on CBS Sports.
Welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Crosser. Let's get everybody up to date right now. The New York Jets playing for pride, hoping to slip in as a wild card. They may run out of time first. They lead the Bills by 14 at the half. New England impressive. They have shut down Danny Marino. 2 Dolphin field goals, one of 52 yards by Von Schaman. Tony Collins has scored one, and Grogan ran in from 1 yard out. Cleveland dominating Tampa Bay at the half, 10-0. They are now in the third quarter of that game. Kansas City leads Cincinnati. It is 13-6. They are at the half there. Detroit and Houston, they are tied at 10. And wait until you see the Billy Sims act from the first half of this game. We're going to show you some highlights right now of this action. As you know, Oliver Luck, no, that's not Oliver there in the middle. That's just one of the mascots coming out. Here is Luck from the shotgun for the Oilers. Barnes with the deflection and comes down with the interception. And from there, the Lions were in business. And Billy Sims comes up over the top for the touchdown. But here's the run I want everybody to see. Irv, how can you say this is a personal foul?
Remember, running backs must keep their feet on the ground. If they hurdle or leave with their feet and make contact, it's a personal foul. But did he hit him? 1, 2. Did he mean to do it? That's what the official asked the rule.
After taking all those shots? Sure he did. Where's the other 9? What are you talking about? Did he mean to? Finally, it was Luck back looking for his tight end out of Penn State, and there he is, Mike McCloskey, and they are tied at 10 right now. They are in the third quarter of that game. St. Louis, and what a story developing here. Roy Green caught 4 passes in the first half, all for touchdowns. 5, of course, is the NFL record. Now, Kellen Winslow of the San Diego Chargers did it last, and before that, turned the clock back to 1950 when the Cardinals played in Chicago. A receiver by the name of Bob Shaw was the first to do it. 15 yards, 23 yards, 7 yards, and 62 yards. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, 7-3. Steelers over the Colts right now. Chicago and Philadelphia. And the Bears lead at 14-7. Many of you are watching that game. And here was their second touchdown. McMahon to his tight end Moorhead after a very questionable call went against the Philadelphia Eagles. They ruled that McMahon had not fumbled. Now, of course, it is Green Bay and Minnesota, and the Packers are all over the Vikings. This could wind up a day on which three teams are tied for the lead in the NFC Central. Detroit must win, the Packers must hold on, and Green Bay's defense suddenly has come alive. Dills was down on the 1-yard line. They forced a punt. Good field position from there. The Packers drove for this touchdown. Then still another turnover, and the Packers went back in the other way on the second quarter. Jefferson. And they turned it over to the Packer defense. And watch the frustration coming up here by Dills. And it is now 19-0. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Monday.
She thinks we're having an
Scarecrow and Mrs. King have an undercover affair to protect the princess, but their royal romp becomes a race against murder. And on Aftermash, Potter's niece turns Alma Cox green with envy. Then is Newhart's play in for a rewrite when Johanna wants the lead?
You're just too darn old.
And on Emerald Point, Kay finds fulfillment with Glenn, while Hillary's past comes back to haunt her.
I know what you like to do.
Scandalous tapes lead to blackmail on Emerald Point, Monday.
This is CBS.
Do you remember Lincoln and Lowe? No, not the fellows who wrote My Fair Lady, Camelot, and those other Broadway classics. That two-man team was Lerner and Lowe. Lincoln and Lowe are Keith Lincoln and Paul Lowe, and their performances for the Chargers back in the early years of the American Football League brought a touch of Camelot to San Diego. Their glory days are now recalled by Irv Cross in this Legends of the Game profile.
The man at the desk is the Director of Alumni Relations at Washington State University. The man at the oven owns and operates Louisiana Barbecue, a fast foods restaurant in San Diego. Their lives are very different today, but back in the early 60s, Keith Lincoln and Paul Lowe worked together as the finest backfield in the American Football League. Lowe was a halfback of the two, a 180-pound track star who twice made the AFL All-Star team despite his distaste for a certain aspect of the game.
I used to tease Paul and say, you know, I think it's only fair that you block once in a while for me. I used to fondly call him the Spider, you know, because here's Paul, about 6'2", and weighed about 190, and all legs, you know, he looked like ballerina legs or something, and he could really, really fly. Once he got in the open one-on-one, he was almost impossible to bring down.
Keith Lincoln lacked Paul Lowe's breakaway speed. Otherwise, the two men were virtual equals. So when Lincoln joined the Chargers in '61, Lowe acquired both a running mate and a rival.
I was there first. Then when Keith came in, see, you know, I felt like a spoiled child. You're not paying me as much attention now as you were before, you know. And the whole one time I wanted Keith to outdo me, and I'm quite sure he the one to do the same thing. It made it interesting for the team because we know once I got the ball, I know I had to do something with it.
The 1963 AFL Championship game, Lowe ran through the Patriots on a dazzling 58-yard touchdown run.
Paul and I would kid back and forth, and you know, who's going to have a 1,000-yard season, that kind of thing. And my bottom line with him, to Paul would be something like, well, let's see, you've carried the ball 300 times, and you're averaging 4.5 a carry. I've carried it 300 times, I'm averaging 6.5, so there's no argument, right, Paul? And he'd tell me something like I was more rested or whatever the situation was. But actually, I think that that's a healthy situation in any ball club to have two competitive running backs that are trying to outdo each other.
They parted as close friends and went their separate ways. Lincoln back to his alma mater in Washington State, and Lowe here in a San Diego eatery. But that special chemistry that existed between them is never more than a phone call away.
Hello? Hey, Keith. How you doing? Luther. Yeah. I thought you would get in touch with me before you left town.
Hey, I meant to. I tried to, but you're busy cooking ribs all the time.
Luther doesn't weigh any 185 today, or...
He's been eating a lot of those ribs. He's about 260 or 270.
There go the profits, right? Okay, let's send you back to the stadium now and the game you're enjoying on CBS.
Well, the Packers are back on the field. Minnesota has not reappeared. They're in the dressing room trying to brew up the magic formula. They trail 19-0 at the half.